comic book fans, here we are with a quick review of Batman Under the Red Hood trade. This is the complete story of the initial run-ins between run-ins between Batman and the Red Hood, where Batman sees this guy and he's trying to figure out, whoa, who is this guy? Because he's really good. There's something familiar about him. He's not supposed to be in town because he's, Batman is very selective as to who he lets fight crime in his town, and this guy is not going along with the plan and not killing. So, spoiler alert if you haven't read any of this stuff. So, you have Death in the Family, where I guess Jason Todd was not all that liked as a Robin, so DC says, all right, we're going to take a poll. You call in one number, he lives. You call in one number, he dies. Right? And by the end of the time limit, there was a few hundred more people for deaths than to live, and they think it was some guys using a bunch of robocalls to do it, but so he dies. Jump forward a few years later, we have Under the Red Hood. So the initial, it starts out with, Batman or some dude who's down on his luck. He's homeless. He's like, okay, he's seen some stuff. But man, if you could only see what's happening 4 or 5 stories up, and boom, there's a fight. There's a little back and forth between Batman and Red Hood, who he didn't know his name at this point. It was even Red Hood at this point. Boom. They land pretty much on top of dude, and guy somehow manages to take Batman's mask off. It's never happened before. And they talk back and forth, and the guy says, seems only fair. Boom, takes his mask off, and Batman's like, holy cow. So we jump back in time. You have Batman doing some investigating, talk to by Lucius Fox. You have basically Red Hood now going over, taking the city over, or trying to take the city back, the underworld back from Black Mask. And he's doing it roughly. He's killing people. He's taking out drug dealers. He's taking out pimps. He's just robbing, munitions shipments. He's doing everything just any way that Batman would not do it. And Batman's getting kind of, whoa. And then they'd have a couple of run-ins here and there, and Batman keeps thinking there's something familiar about this guy, because he's good, he's really good, and he knows some of the tactics that Batman uses. So he's beginning to suspect, and he just spends he's beginning to think it might be Jason, but it can't be, right? Because Jason's dead. So he's, goes and digs up his grave. And there was nothing in there. So he's like, wait a minute. And all this time he's doing these investigations, we're having, the Red Hood just going out and causing all sorts of crap with the bad guys and killing everybody. But Batman goes to Zatanna and says, hey, are the Lazarus pits? He's like, no, they haven't been broken into. He goes to Oliver Queen. He goes to Superman. All these people who have died and come back, asking him, what was it like? Is it possible? What is it like? So he's doing his investigation. And that's one of the cool things about this book, is it's showing a lot of the Batman investigative part of him, the detective, as well as the action. And it's also showing what Jason Todd's death did to him, up here, as opposed to, because even Alfred is like, oh, I'm kind of beginning to get worried about him. And so then Red Hood actually pays a little visit to the Joker, has a little bit of a payback. And so, this is a great book. And it's so well written by Judd Winnick that I'm so glad that I read it. And so you finally get to where he initially stops Red Hood for the first time for good. And then it goes to annual number 25. And it shows how Jason Todd came back to life and where he was from the time that he came back to life to the beginning of his book. But then there's also one more book in there, which is from Hush. Because there's a scene in Hush where, there's a guy that can't be Jason Todd. Is that Jason Todd? Jason Todd is dead because it's the older Jason Todd. That actually, some of those scenes were actually him. Some of them were Clayface, and some of them were him. So in Hush was when they, the resurrected Jason Todd came back for the first, showed up for the first time. So I'm going to give this book a 4.25 because it was just very well done, very well written. The art was awesome, and I'm surprised it took me as long to get it done as it did, just because I was trying to read it at work, and then I finally brought it home on my couple of days off and finished it up so I could do this. But anyway, 4.25 out of 5. What did you think of it? If you read it in floppies or in this, let me know what you think down below. Like, subscribe, and enjoy your comics.